So a lot of people seem to like our relationship whole spiel last week and whatever.
Right.
So I had a thought um a few minutes ago. I had a thought about like this whole aspect of cheating, right?
Hmm.
So I was thinking about it and I wanted to pose it to you and the listeners so they can get into their own debates or thoughts on it. But like what's your definition of cheating?
Cheating. I guess anything you do
You're
physical that.
wrong. All
Oh
right.
my God! Holy shit! This was never about my answer. You already had something you wanted to say.
your earth just crashes.
Apocalypse behind me. See, you
No,
could see behind me. The COVID started right here.
you see that? If you zoom in, China. No, but continue.
Anything physical, like I want to say it starts with kissing.
Okay.
You do something without that's not your significant other.
Okay. So you don't believe
That's
in
like
like
definite. That's like you can't argue your way out of it. That's
right.
definite cheating.
You don't believe in like emotional cheating then.
I do to a certain extent, but you can't really prove that,
Okay.
you know? So,
Okay. So I was thinking about this, right? I was thinking about like at least people I know and their stories of like stuff happening, right? And for a lot of them, I was not like around when it was happening because that'd be weird. But like it was like a 6 degrees of separation to where it's like I knew the whole get down of what happened, right? So I started thinking about it and I was like, I'm gonna pose this to y'all. When it comes to cheating, is it more of a um based on the person or is it more of a societal thing? Because like society tells us like America is like a capitalist society, right? So we're taught that the more you work, you hopefully progress in life, the more stuff you get. And then the more stuff you get, obviously you wouldn't turn that down because you can use that for either yourself or to help people, whatever, blah, 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 right? So if I broke cheating down to something as simple as okay, if you have a car, right? So you have a car, you have your car, you like your car's great. If someone told you that you could have another car, but you don't have to pay for it, you don't have to care about the insurance, you can drive it whatever, you can drive it whenever. I don't think anyone would turn down the other car,
no,
right?
of course not.
Right. So I'm realizing that I think when we think of cheating, I think a lot of people put it into perspectives of like, oh, this person did something to their significant other and it was so foul. How could they? Like he loved her or she loved him and everything like that. But I'm like, what if you put it in a perspective of literally like if like literally whatever happened between that person that made them cheat, what if it was literally the only thing that could have happened or like the one thing that like they couldn't turn down, you know what I mean? So if it's like if let's say I think you've admitted that you're a pretty sexual person, right?
Yeah, pretty sexual.
Right. So I've seen it, I like it, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I leave the door open for you. I mean, like,
I'm
I'm a
saying
performer, dude.
sometimes I give it like a little walking golf clap as I
Yeah.
walk by and hear the moans. I'm like, oh, okay,
You
okay.
clap for me, I make a clap for you.
You know what I'm saying? That's all right. If you guys have heard any claps, any of my music, it was sampled from.
It was really weird when you put up a microphone to her ass and her so like,
and I was like,
okay, yeah,
put the
peace.
metronome on. Like I
Don't
got
worry,
this.
baby. He's one of those. He's one of them artist types. Just let him do what he does. He needs to create. Okay.
Am I gonna get royalties for this? Nah, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Not a what?
What are you talking about?
Well, get
Um,
out.
how dare you?
Try to
But
use me like this.
um, how you flipped it? How you try to use me?
Yeah.
Uh, so like, what if you're a sexual person? So I don't think the aspect of like if you were with I don't know if you are, but if you're with your significant other, you love them and everything, right? If you guys are at a party, another girl comes up to you, your girl's not around, she starts talking to you and everything like that. I don't think your mind is gonna go to like, oh my god, I'm going to cheat on my girl with this girl,
Right.
because the actual aspect of it, it's not even anything that would entertain you, because it's literally like, okay, my girl's in another room or she's talking to somebody. This girl just comes up. She doesn't know that I'm with my girl. There's nothing that intrigues me about this situation, right?
Right.
But what if I flip it and I say, okay, you are at a kickback. Your girl is like at home. She's like, oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna chill at home and everything like that. You're at a kickback, you're talking, there's a couple of girls there, a girl pulls you in the room and she's like, let's have sex right now. I guarantee maybe the more of the thought will cross your mind than the first one.
Well, yeah, because there's more opportunity.
Right. And also it's because you're a sexual person, right? That's something that would intrigue you more than like someone else who isn't as sexual, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, in all these situations, like I had a friend who I'm not gonna even whatever, but let's just say like if there was a dude who was with his girl, he happened to have a friend and everything like that. Now what if they're all kids and everything, like high school and everything, everyone's at least most of the yeah, everyone is trying to have sex and do all this stuff, right? Um if this if your friend has his girl and his girl is cool and everything, and they having sex and everything like that, and then you put the pressures of high school and you wanting to have sex and everything just to get it out the way and everything. So if let's say your friend goes on a trip, his girl stays back and she's like, oh, she's cool with you because you're his friend, let's hang out, and then she offers sex to you. I'm like, I guarantee it's going to be a lot harder to turn it down for the guy who hasn't had sex, because he's like, this is my opportunity. I've never had an opportunity before this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It would.
Right.
I mean, for the average, sorry, for the average person
Right.
that hasn't had sex and he's like in high school, it's gonna be damn near impossible for like him to just be like, nah.
Nah. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but we look at these moments as such, like, oh, the treachery, like, how
Yeah.
could you, and everything like that. But I guarantee you, same scenario. But if you flip it, and let's just say, she's like, oh, I want to have sex, but the dude's like, his friend's like next door and everything like that. He's gonna be
Yeah.
like, no, like, what, like,
You know what? Just real quick though, like, how dare you put me in this position? Just real quick, we're gonna do this.
I can't believe you. I won't give you any pleasure in this.
Just offer me.
Like, and I'm just thinking about like these scenarios of cheating, and I'm like, I feel like almost every scenario of cheating, besides like just someone who's like a complete like I don't care.
Yeah.
I feel like every scenario of like cheating can be boiled down to, it was literally the one thing that they couldn't turn down, or the one person that they couldn't turn down, or like, I'm like, what if we thought about it like that instead of like just straight up, oh, this person's an asshole. They turned on the person that they loved them forever or whatever.
Wouldn't those just be considered excuses to cheat?
What?
Like all what you're saying, like it's an offer they couldn't refuse, kind of thing. Like,
Oh,
isn't that just a reason like
no,
they
no,
can
no.
try to get away with it?
Yeah, like if you look at it that way, and I'll have no argument to it. Yeah, of course, right? But I'm saying like, if they're like just taking a step back and looking at another perspective of it and everything like that, because I feel like when it comes to cheating, like, and if someone cheated on me, we'd feel the same way. We'd be like, nah, fuck that person. Like,
Yeah.
how could they, and everything like that. But I'm like, a lot of these scenarios are literally like, kind of like the car scenario that I said earlier, where it's like, okay, you have a car, you love this car, this is your favorite car. However, someone is like, you can have another car, you can just drive it, and no one's gonna know, and everything like that. It's like, it's hard for someone to be.
Right, but in that situation, the your car that you're driving, like your favorite car, doesn't have any emotional impact when you're like driving a different car. It doesn't start feeling a certain way.
Well, in my scenario, it's because they don't know that you're driving the other car.
Oh, okay. So
Like all these scenarios that I'm putting is with the guys that you won't get caught.
Oh, okay. So cheating is okay if you don't get caught.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm like, if you put a lot of people in situations where put them with their like most desirable thing, and then
Mhm.
put them with the guise of they won't get caught, I feel like because society
Oh,
teaches
I
us
see what you're saying.
teaches us to take everything, and it's like, oh yeah, no, you're supposed to gain this and everything. The same thing if I said you work for a living, your salary is 50,000. Someone came up to you and was like, oh, there's 50,000 on that table. No one's gonna know if you take it. Just take it, right? A lot of it boils down to everyone's straight up just moral compass at the end of the day, right? It's like most people are gonna be like, I'm taking the money because first of all, it's just here. Like he said, it's here and everything. I can take it, not gonna get caught. I can use this money for X, Y, Z, blah blah blah, whatever, right? I'm gonna take it. But
Right.
then you have those people who are like, nah, I don't know where this came from. I feel like this is stealing. I'm not gonna do it, right? I feel like it's the same thing that boils down to people when it comes to cheating and everything like that. I don't think it boils down to uh at least for like a lot of situations. I won't say all of them. I don't think it boils down to like an emotional anything. I think it literally boils down to how is this person wired, and like how would they take anything if it was offered to them and they knew that they weren't gonna get caught.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So if you have something to gain, like something that's gonna make your life more pleasurable,
Mm-hmm.
but it's morally gray.
Right.
But in that same situation, you know you're definitely not gonna get caught. Most people are gonna do the
So thing
morally, yeah,
the
the
gray
thing that's
thing.
kind of, yeah,
Right.
exactly. Okay.
Like, and I'm like, I want people to, like, from everything I just said, I want them to think about it and give their response to that. So if you knew that you could do something, and it's not just something like, because every time people put themselves in like scenarios of cheating, right? It's always like, oh, you met this chick or you met this dude and everything like that. Oh, and you knew that you could have sex with them and won't get caught and everything like that, would you do it? Most people are gonna say no because the scenario is like, I don't know them. Like, who are they? Like, do I even like them like that and everything like
Right. And
that?
then the person, and they don't want to be seen like as an asshole.
Right.
So they say
But
the correct thing.
right.
Yeah.
But if you put yourself in the scenario of like, I don't know, like a lot of girls like Michael B. Jordan, right? So I'm like, okay, you go somewhere and you just happen to bump into Michael B. Jordan, and you guys talk, and you're like, oh, he's cool and everything, and then like when you guys are talking, he just pulls you aside and he's like, yo, I really would like to have sex with you. I'm like,
Of course,
now.
Michael B. Jordan.
I'm like, now for all the girls that fantasize about Michael B. Jordan and everything like that, but you have a significant other. Now what's gonna be? And like I said, in this scenario, you're not gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Your person won't know. You're not gonna get caught. What would you do? Now I think it boils down to just everyone's literal moral compass to everything. I feel like I said, a lot of these cheating scenarios, we put it into situations of like, nah, it's wrong, and you knew what you were doing and everything like that. But it's the same thing if I said, okay, if you could kill the person you hated the most, and you knew that you weren't gonna go to jail for it, would you do it? Most people will probably be like, I'm not gonna go to jail. Like, yeah, I mean, because but they'll justify it like, oh yeah, they did this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah, and everything like
Yep.
that. But if you put it under the guise of, okay, you can kill them, but there's a good chance you're gonna get caught. They're gonna start having the whole like,
Right. It's
oh
not worth it.
yeah, it's not worth it, and also
Right.
I don't believe in murder, and they start bringing up all these things and everything like that, right? So that's just something that I really want to see how where people's mind go with that and everything like that.
Right. But we have to find people that are completely honest, which is
Yeah,
hard to find.
right.
Because right now, just right, if I asked you if would you cheat if you knew you would never get caught and no consequences from it?
And I would say for me personally, and this like if you've listened to this whole shit, like or when I say whole shit, I mean like the whole podcast from beginning to now and everything like that. Me, I still say no, just for the simple fact it has nothing to do with like my person. It has everything to do with how I feel about the
Yeah.
situation, right? So I would still say no and everything. However, I'm not putting on the aspect of like, oh, it's because I love my fiance so much and everything. I do, of course, and everything like that. But I'm like, I'm taking everything out of it. I'm like, me personally, how I would look at myself and everything, nah. because
Okay.
I like to be the person who's like he didn't do that. I like that. Some people could say that's fucking insane and everything. So it's like you only do stuff because you want to be the only person that did it. Yeah, like yeah,
So the vision, how you see yourself, is more important
it's more
than
important than fucking whatever.
getting
And that
caught and all that stuff.
yeah, and that's me being honest,
Right.
right? But a lot of people will put that um a lot of people could say like, nah, like I don't believe that because we would all blah 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 and everything like that. And I'm like, again, this is coming from me in my head.
Yeah.
Now, there's some things that people would do that I flat out wouldn't do because I don't understand it in my head. Like, a lot of people, it's like they uh a lot of people choose to risk like so much for like single things. And I always find like I'm like, it's like I don't know. We talked about like a question that we used to always bring up is like would you risk everything as you knew it today, like your life and everything, to be at the top of your field and everything like that? And
Yeah.
my brain would always go like no, because it's like I can't, like I feel like there's other ways to get to that, route or whatever. But a lot of people would say yeah, because it's like the top of what I want is the most desirable thing. Now I'm just saying put that in the form of cheating. What if the most desirable thing was this scenario?
Right.
Is it still the same reality? It's still like,
The girl or guy you've always wanted, never had a chance with, all of a sudden you do.
right,
One time only,
right,
not getting caught. Yeah.
because a lot of people's triggers when it comes to stuff like that, I realized like a lot of people's, like I had a friend, um, his trigger wasn't the person at all that he would like cheat on his girl with. His trigger was just the fact that he would come off as like I'm that nigga because I'm hitting all these chicks and everything. It had nothing to do with the girls.
Right.
And I would look at it and I was just like, that's wild because how can you, it's like, and then um me being single at the time, but this might seem like nah, that's whatever. Me being single at the time, I would like, I knew his girl a bit, and I was just like, she is like dope. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand why he does this. Like I literally can't put myself in the mindset. Like he would never have an issue with her. They would, like, at least from what I knew, like he would never come in and be like, man, she was tripping, everything, never, right? She would come and bring him food and everything when we were working and everything like that. I was like, yeah, you got a good one, my G, and everything like that. But as soon as she would leave, he would be like, hey, you see the girl who came up a couple minutes ago and everything like that? He was like, bro, he's like, I got the number. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, how could you, how? Like, why do you put yourself, like, what?
What do you think he was a part of it? Was he was trying to impress you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Were you
Like,
single at the time?
yeah.
Maybe he was just trying to impress the single friends, like, yeah, I still got it out here like you. And
That's so again, but see, that's not my mindset. I'm like,
yeah.
what? Who cares? Like, but if it was, that's the thing that drove him. Like I said, I felt like him being like top dog and being perceived as like I'm that dude drove him to want to do these things, And I always found it was weird. I remember when I worked at LA Fitness, it was the same thing. I didn't understand it. Like the dude um who I was cool with. I was cool with like a lot of people up there, but the dude I was cool with the most, he was the assistant manager, and he was like, which was weird, but he was the assistant manager. He was like 21 and everything, so making good money. His girl, I think, was I think she was a nurse, or I want to say she was a nurse. Um, like this dude, everything I felt like you would want as a young, like a young male or young woman, whatever, right? He had it, you know, good job, getting money, you got friends, like, whatever, all these things, right? Everything is like set pretty much. And I remember same scenario, like he would talk about girls, and then I remember one day his girl bought him food like during her lunch break, and she was in scrubs and everything. And I was just like, damn. I was like, man, I'm like, she cool and everything. At this point now, I'm not single, so I'm like, we're talking about relationships and everything. And then he was like, yeah, she cool, but he was like, she cheated on me like 2 years ago or whatever. We were still in high school, and I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't have any opinion on it. And then he started to go down the list of like all the girls that we were working with that he slept with. He was like, slept with her, slept with her, slept with her, slept with her, slept with her a week ago, all this stuff. And I'm
Was
like,
was he saying it like this is my revenge kind of
yeah,
thing?
like that's how he was like rationalizing it. And I
Okay.
was like sitting there like, yo, like of course this is before like everyone had the whole toxic and the buzzwords and everything like that. But I
Yeah.
was sitting there like, this nigga's crazy. Like, and I was like, what? And then he was literally like being like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I love my girl and I know that she's a good girl, but he was like, sometimes I just think about that moment and it just pisses me off. And I was just sitting there like, leave
Just
her.
break up with her. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
like I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't get it. Like, and it was crazy because now, mind you, in his head, he saw it as like, oh yeah, that's my girl. But in my head, I saw it as, wait a minute, you are letting your girl walk in here. All these baddies we work around, any of them could drop dime on you at a heart's moment and everything, or any of them can get real petty and so
yeah.
walk up and see him like, oh hi, blah blah blah, and he's like, oh shit, and everything. Like they can all do this and everything like that. And I'm like, and you're not even either you don't think about this or you don't even care, because I was like, this is wild. And then literally that same day that we after work we were working out, and there was like this chick, she was bad, like, and she was like she was just a member, and she like walked by us and she said what's up and everything, and she just walked away. And then he was like, man, she's been like hitting me up on Instagram to like fuck me for like the last 3 days. And I was like, I just talked to her earlier today and I just thought she was like a nice person. Like oh my god. Like, and then now of course I had talked to his girl earlier too. So like now I'm like, oh, like I like your girl, man, she's nice and everything. Like,
Right. You've
and now,
chosen a side.
yeah, I've chosen the side now, and I'm just like, now after he told me that, I was just like, you motherfucker, like I can't, I
This good woman taking her lunch break to bring you lunch.
bring you food,
You bitch. You know what? I'm gonna go fuck your girl.
yeah,
You know what? She
it deserves
deserves
better.
a good dick like me.
But I cheat on my girl in the process. This
Hey,
world,
this is complex. The world's complex, man.
this
It's not.
whirlwind of cheating. No, but yeah, I was just like, this is insane. And then I thought about it again from this question, and I was like, maybe it had nothing to do with his girl. Maybe it literally was just he was hurt. Period.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. After a certain point, like you can't use that excuse no more.
Right.
Like there's a limit to where like okay, yeah, that's understanding. Like he did get cheated on, he was hurt, blah blah blah. But then he kept doing it. Uh,
He was
you get less sympathetic after a while.
here was the cycle thing that I was just like, okay, I can't, like, me and these niggas don't mix, because he showed me the dude that cheated on his girl, right? And it was another dude who lifted, right? And like when we would work out, like we would do certain stuff, and he was a pretty big dude,
Right.
for his age. And we would do certain stuff, and I remember that he was, which I don't know if I told you, but he was 20, he was 21, and he was taking testosterone, which I was like, and I told him, I was like, that's stupid, right? Like I literally told him, like, that's dumb, right? Because I'm like, you are like, you're ruining your life. Because I was like, do you plan on having kids and everything? He was like, yeah. And I was like, well, you do realize that when you take that, you're like, you're lowering your testosterone. So you, like, once you come off of it,
Right. Your body won't produce it no more.
like, oh, it'll produce very little.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, are you prepared for this and everything like that? And he was like, man, I don't believe in all that and everything like that. And I'm just sitting there like, your girl's a nurse. Like, oh my god, like, but this is, and that, I thought that was wild, because I was the first person I ever saw like openly be like, yeah, I take steroids, right? But the wildest thing was we would work out. I remember one day we were doing weighted pull ups, and he literally dropped off the bar. He put uh I want to say it was 245s on. And I was just like, damn. I was like, that's pretty beastly, right? He got off the bar after he did his set, and he went on his phone, and he was like, man, Dwayne, look at this dude. And then he was like, his back isn't even like mine and everything like that. He had the dude's Instagram who cheated on his girl, and
Damn.
he would like watch him and like diss him, but like he would like it would like pump him up to keep working out. And I was like,
So his life is just fueled by anger and rage and
yeah, but again, cool dude. Like you wouldn't suspect it, right? And I was just like, his motivation isn't even like it's not even his girl. It's not even these girls around him. I don't think he even cares. His motivation is literally like this dude. This dude is the
I
reason.
need to be better than him.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
reason you're doing this. And I was just like, man. But that's what I want people to really think about when it comes to cheating. But disclaimer: I am not promoting cheating, or I'm not saying to go cheat. Not saying that at all. If you got
I
that,
am. I'm saying that.
if you got that from this messaging or whatever, you failed to get what I was
Oh yeah.
talking
Don't
about.
don't use us as like, well, I cheated because how do I know
Uh,
you said it was blah blah
nah,
blah.
nah. I don't try to twist it and be like, "Oh, Dwayne, I don't see how you can be and be engaged, but you like cheat." I'm like, no, never said that. Don't never said that. I'm saying like again, let's use like real critical thinking about some situations and like let's really deep dive into why these things happen.
Right. If we don't treat cheating as a black and white situation and
Right.
gray like it is, how do we feel about it now?
Yeah. How do we feel about it now? But
Yeah. That's perfect though. 'Cause, I actually thought of a question and we didn't talk about this, but my question is this. Is there ever a good reason for cheating?
yeah. It just logs off.
Yeah, it's just cuts. Yeah, you guys know too much.
You're breaking the fourth wall.
Like,
um,
is it ever the other person's fault? Like,
the,
is it ever your significant other's fault that you cheated?
I feel like could they be the motivation? Yeah. Could they be the determining factor in it? No.
So even like in a situation you were talking about where the in that situation his girl cheated on him first,
Mhm.
caught leading him to cheat.
Mhm.
And let's say it was just a one off, like he cheated the one off to be like, okay, we're even kind of thing.
Mhm.
In that situation, was it her fault that he cheated?
Like again, this is just in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I will always put everything at the end of the day down to myself. What did I do? Not to cause the cheating,
Right,
but I'm like, what was my response to this? Because at the end of the day, you can't look at it. And I feel like some people try to like rationalize certain things like this. You can't look at it like, oh, she cheated, so I'm just doing this to get her back, but I'm not a cheater. It's like, no, you cheated too. That's the black and white of it. Yeah, you
right,
cheated too. Your reasonings for it might be different than hers, but you guys both did the same thing, so you're no better. That's literally like someone, which we do in like in neighborhoods like this and everything, but we always say, which we've seen it time after time. Somebody that we know that's from a hood, somebody they know gets shot. That same day, they go and shoot somebody else.
right.
They rationalize it as, oh, he shot the homie, so we had to get them back. But the court system and justice system is gonna be like, both you niggas did something wrong. It won't be like, oh, what? Your friend got shot? You were emotional? Oh my god, you're off. How dare them?
Let him
Like,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
let them go. Like they won't look at it like that.
At the end of the day, they're both murderers.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like that's just point blank. Period. Now, will will they both feel justified in whatever they did? Of course, because the person who shot the first person first is like, oh yeah, he was from that hood. We had to. The second person gonna be like, I had to get back. That was my homie. It
Yeah.
is what it is, right? But it's still wrong. So in this situation, like I said, they can be the motivation. They can 100% be the motivation, right? But at the end of the day, they didn't make you do what you did. you chose to do what you did. There was a I keep going back to LA Fitness. That was a great time in my life because there was a lot of weird niggas there. But uh, there was a dude, and I always tell this story, but there was a dude who I was cool with too. We had to go out, and we used to go out and we had to set up the whole set up the tent. We had to try to get people to sign up for memberships, right? And I distinctly remember there was this chick who was she was like the front desk at this massage parlor, and we tried to get her to sign for a membership, but obviously she didn't want it and everything. But she was cool, right? So she would come out and talk to us and everything like that. I saw what he was, but no, actually, I won't even give him that because he really wasn't. But he was talking to her, trying to get her to sign for a membership, right? But she took it as I feel like he was trying to get at her, right? So
Right.
of course, once it was hilarious because once she walked away, we both looked at each other and he was like, "Did you feel what I felt?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Okay, so are you gonna?" And I was like, "Nope." All you, man. Like, and he was like, "All right." Like, so we get back to the gym, and he sits in front of me, turns around, and he was like, "Bro." And then he was like, "Remember the girl?" He was like, "Remember the masseuse chick?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "She just hit me." And she was like, "You want to hang out?" And he was like, and I was like, "Oh shit." And then he was like, "Well, what the fuck?" So I was like, "Do it, man." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I know." So then the next day we come in and he was like, "Yo, she came over last night. I fucked." And I was just like, "Nice, right?" So I was like, "Job well done, gentlemen. Job well done. Job well done." Uh,
Doctor.
doctor. Rest in peace to Ted. Damn it.
Oh, Ted.
Rest in peace, Sam Lloyd, aka Ted from Scrubs. He died this week. They didn't say how, but he was 56.
Brain tumor. He had a brain tumor last year, and I guess it came back.
Damn. But rest in
Yeah,
peace.
I know it
Rest in peace,
sucks.
Ted. Um, so it was like good job, right? So then he literally uh he stopped talking to her because he was like, whatever, she got what she wanted. I guess she wanted to whatever, right? Because that's how he
Yeah,
saw it. Because he was like, I didn't pursue this, she did. You know what I mean?
it's on her to pursue it more if she wants to.
Right. So literally, like, I'd say 2 days later, I come back from another outing with someone else, and I sit at my desk, and he turns the chair in the funniest way because he turned the chair kind of like Doctor Evil, kind of like a
Oh, the slow swivel
yeah.
turn.
But because when I walked in, I saw the chick at his desk, right?
Yeah,
And she had brought her friend, and they were signing up for memberships. And he kind of did like she was like writing something down, but he did the slow swivel and looked at me and was like, and I
yeah,
was just sitting there, and I was so puzzled because I was like, when we talked to her, she definitely did not want that membership. They
yeah,
had sex, and now she's signing up herself and her friend, right? So then I thought about it, and I remember that I remember she had said that she had just she was single, but she had just like got out of a relationship and everything like that. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, because I was like, what made her do that? And I was like, at the end of the day, she chose to do that because I feel like she was still getting over that relationship or whatever, right?
yeah,
Because I don't see how you go from like nah to in the same day to hey, let's hang out till we have sex. 2 days later, I'm getting this membership, right? I didn't understand it, but I was like, oh, that is all her. She made all those choices because she felt like, a, I hit you up, you did a service for me because I was in a moment, and now I have to return the favor to you and get this membership and everything. Because I remember after that, I was like, what? I was like, you got the membership? And he was like, yeah. She's like, after like the next day, she had told me that her and her friend was gonna come in. I was like, so wait, so you didn't even offer it again? He was like, no, like, and I was like,
So you
wow.
telling me you lay down the pipe that good?
You telling me you beat it up crazy? And she got nah, but I was just like, wow, she really put it in her head that because she did this, she had to rationalize it by, oh, I'm doing this, like he's doing this for me, so I can get, so I have to get this membership now.
Oh, I see. Kind of like rationalize, like You think it was like a rationalization of like, oh, I'm not a slut. It wasn't like a one night stand. This was for this and that, so I could get a better deal or something, or
Exactly.
whatever. That's funny.
Exactly. But I was like, in my mind, I was like, no, you just give up the pussy. Like, I don't get. It's
It's
all
fine
right.
too. Like
It's all
it's
right. We don't
cool.
care. Like, or I'm not gonna judge you. Like you're bad, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the same way I feel about like cheating and everything. At the end of the day, you're going to do what you're gonna do regardless.
Right.
People can motivate you and people can put you in those positions to where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's on you what you want to do. So some people
So the real
okay.
question is like, how do you rationalize doing morally bad things?
How do you rationalize it? I think
That's
most people do it. Most people look at it as not it's not morally wrong.
but that's what I'm saying. Like all these scenarios, like the real question that enters through everyone's head is, how do I rationalize this?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
saying for people who choose to not do certain things, like I can easily say that I'm like cheating. No, probably I'm pretty sure I'll never do it. However, can I say that will I ever not like possibly hurt someone to the point that I might go to jail for it? Yeah, but I'm like I can rationalize that way better than like.
Yeah.
But some people, like my fiance, can't rationalize that at all. She's like, "That's stupid. That's insane. Like, why would you do that to another human being?" And I'm
Hmm.
like, "There's a bunch of reasons. Like, what? How can you not understand this, right?" So I honestly feel like we rationalize it how we choose to based off of what we feel like is morally right and wrong. Some people will never steal a day in their life. Some people steal and they say, I had to because I had to feed my family.
Yeah.
Like, what was the difference between the person who chose not to and that person who chose to? They put their family as their motivation. That person said anything that is with stealing is just flat out wrong.
So is rationalization purely emotional in that sense?
Um,
In the it's in disguise as logic,
right.
but really it's purely emotional when you have to rationalize something.
Yeah, I would say yeah, I would say it's purely emotional just for the simple fact that there is no the only logic that exists when it comes to rationale is your logic. There's no actual like documented like oh A plus B equals C type shit. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's only how you choose to rationalize it.
Right.
So if I choose to go by that logic, then yeah, it's purely emotional because you know maybe something when it comes to stealing triggers me, and I'm like, ah, no, nah, I don't steal because I saw
Yeah.
something in my past. I was like, this is why you don't steal. But some people will be like, oh, I used to steal all the time as a kid. I never got caught. That's why I steal to this day. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, so yeah, I feel like rationalization is definitely emotional.
Purely emotional. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Because anytime someone's explaining to, like, if I explain to you like, oh, I cheated because of this, so I'm telling you a story, right?
Mhm.
And I give you all my reasons, all my rationalizations. To me, they sound logical,
Right.
right? While I'm saying it in my head, it's logical. But when it hits your ears and you start processing it,
I'm like,
you're like, no, that was purely emotional. You were just hurt, and
right.
you were acting out as an emotion. So it's just, I don't know. That's fucking complex as shit.
Yeah.
That's like one of those things. Is like, why most likely people will never truly understand each other,
Yeah.
because either like me in that situation, like I'm lying to myself. So if I'm lying to myself, how can you take anything I'm saying as truth?
Right.
So, and then in that sense too, you can never like even try to attempt to understand like what I'm doing, because it's like, oh no, this is, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
So
So
once you see something, like once you see me doing something wrong, it's never going to be like, I
yeah,
can't put myself in that situation.
your brain just cancels it out.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. That's when it comes to like relationships. When it comes to like whether it be friends, significant others, and everything like that. With relationships, you choose to omit logic for people. Going back to love versus logic, right? You choose to omit your logic for people because you love them. So you try to put yourself in their shoes to help them.
Yeah.
But even like it sometimes it's hard because even your brain is like, what the, I would never fucking do this. Like I would
Yeah.
never do this, right? And that's the biggest, that's why when it comes to like relationships just with people, the people you hold closest are the people who just attempt to understand you,
Yeah.
because that means that they're trying to like in their brain they're doing like this weird mental gymnastics that's making them be like, okay, how can this make sense, right? And then there's
Right.
people who like the people you probably aren't as close with is the people who just be like, nah, nah, like
That person's
that's
crazy. What the fuck's wrong with them? And
right, right.
yeah.
And it's like, and that's the thing that I feel like we're all learning today about people. That's why I said that I don't like the whole, like I don't like the whole toxic thing. I don't like people saying people are just crazy or people are just stupid and everything like that. Because I'm like, okay, I feel like that's just an easy way to say I'm choosing not to do any of the work to understand this person. So since I can't understand them, they stupid.
Yeah. They
But I'm like,
toxic. Mhm.
yeah, but I'm like, okay, really try to figure out why that person is saying this. Like, because I'm like, it might surprise you because, like, even maybe what they're saying might be wrong. Like, I've always said, like, I never understand people who are racist, right?
Right.
However, I can rationalize it better if someone says, like, oh, I was never racist growing up, but I got jumped by all these Mexicans and now I hate Mexicans and everything like that. I'm like, oh, okay, that moment made you like this. What you're doing is still dumb. However, I could
Yeah.
see your point. You know what I mean? Like, but we don't do that in today's world. We literally choose to just write people off and it's like they're stupid and everything like that. And it just is what it is. Cause I feel like if we chose to really one day understand everybody, we would find out that we're all the same. And that's what scares everybody.